herself she gave for rapture and for use, absolved from aberrations in deep ways, the ends she recovered for which she was made. She turned against the evil she had helped her engine wrath, her invisible means to slay, her dangerous moods and arbitrary force. She surrendered to the service of the soul and the control of the spiritual will. A greater despot tamed her despotism. So we have a lot here. If one is absolved from something, one is freed from guilt or blame. And of course, aberrations are deviations or divergences from something that's an ordinary course or mode of action. So she's absolved from these aberrations in deep ways because she has recovered the ends for which she was made. And she turned against the evil that she had helped her engined wrath. Engined is cunning, arranging something by skill or by cunning means. Her engined wrath, her invisible means to slay, and therefore her dangerous moods and arbitrary force. Arbitrary is really, here is capricious, unsupported, unreasonable. So it's arbitrary force. She surrendered to the service of the soul and the control of a spiritual will. A greater despot tamed her despotism. So a despot is a king or a ruler who has absolute unlimited power. And despotism is the rule of that despot. Any questions?
So despot is the divine here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's so beautiful that the divine tames her despotism. And you use the word tamed. Huh? Very interesting. Tamed her despotism. Now, assailed. Yes, go ahead.
Narad, I'm not clear on the engined wrath or
Engined wrath, yes.
Yeah.
Well, this cunning wrath, engined means here it's cunning or very skillful. So it's not like an engine, it's a different definition altogether. Or skillful or cunning wrath. And her invisible means, like semicolon, her dangerous moods and the control of a spiritual will.
It's kind of, the whole concept is difficult to understand. Your voice is breaking a bit. Difficult to understand this kind of cunning wrath.
Yeah, and I keep.
Yeah.
Is it because over here Sri Aurobindo is talking about the occult powers which have surrendered to the will of Ashwapati?
Vladimir, I'm having a lot of trouble here.
You're unmuted, yeah.
Am I muted?
No. You heard, yes. Maybe it means kind of with a shadow of meaning of artificial, not totally real. I don't know. Some kind of played out or made up anger, something.
I think so. Yes, I think so. I mean, after all, this is a game, and we have to see it as the divine's game, and is Shakti's game, because she's the one who does it all. So the Shakti can do evil things also, can do terrible things to the mind that we have now, assailed, surprised in the fortress of herself, conquered by her own unexpected king, fulfilled and ransomed by her servitude. She yielded in a vanquished ecstasy. Her sealed, hermetic wisdom forced from her fragments of the mystery of omnipotence. Beautiful section. Assailed, attacked vigorously, assaulted, in fact, surprised in the fortress of herself. Well, this is the divine Shakti in the fortress of herself, and she is conquered by her own unexpected king. She didn't think he would intervene. So we have fulfilled and ransomed by her servitude. Now that's very beautiful, huh? You see, when she gives herself to the Purusha, she is conquered by him in a way, and she is also fulfilled. And she's even ransomed by this servitude, which is slavery, basically. And she yielded to the divine Purusha in a vanquished ecstasy. And Sri Aurobindo uses the word as an adjective very often. And it is a defeated ecstasy. And her sealed hermetic wisdom is forced from her. Now, hermetic here, I think, would be more magical. Something that's not affected by outward influence or power, something that is quite magical. Alchemy is like this. So her sealed hermetic wisdom is forced from her fragments of the mystery of omnipotence. So now Sri Aurobindo is going to tell us more about the occult force. Have we done occult before?
I think so.
Okay. A border sovereign is the occult force. Now, what is he talking about? It's a threshold guardian of the earth scenes beyond. Well, this beyond is the world of the gods. And she has canalized the outbreaks of the gods. Now, she has canalized the outbreaks of the gods. Now, this is challenging because she has diverted these outbreaks of the gods into certain channels, given them certain direction. And why has she done this? Well, she has also cut through vistas of intuitive sight. Incredible. That's the spiritual vision, of course. A long road of shimmering discoveries. And shimmering is tremulous or flickering light. And now we see that the worlds of a marvelous unknown were near. Behind her, an ineffable presence stood. Well, here we have ineffable used as an adjective for presence. That ineffable presence is the divine force, the Purusha, standing behind the creatrix, Prakriti. And we see now her reign received their mystic influences, and even their lion forces crouched beneath her feet. And then he has a semicolon because he wants to tell us that the future sleeps unknown behind their doors. Now, I don't know if we have done presence.
Yeah.
Can anyone tell
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
We did.
Mhm.
Okay, we did it. Very good. Thank you, Vladimir. So her reign is receiving the mystic influences of these worlds of the gods. Even their lion forces are crouching beneath her feet. And of course, Mother always had lion heads. And of course, Champakla was her lion. There's no question about that. The future sleeps unknown behind their doors. Now, we are going to see that something else is happening. Abysms infernal gaped round the soul steps. Powerful line. Abysmal. An abysm is something that's severe or very bad. Infernal is fiendish or diabolical. And gaped is opening wide. So these abysms are opening, resembling an abyss, something fathomless. And they're infernal, they're certainly fiendish, diabolical. They gaped round the soul steps. Why? Because and called to its mounting vision peaks divine. Well, they want the soul to climb. They want the soul to evolve. An endless climb and adventure of the idea. And have we done the idea?
We did.
We did. There, tirelessly tempted the explorer mind, and countless voices visited the charmed ear. A million figures passed and were seen no more. This was the forefront of God's thousandfold house, beginnings of the half-screened invisible. Now I have to get page 88. A magic porch of entry, glimmering, quivered in a penumbra of screened light, a court of the mystical traffic of the worlds, a balcony and miraculous facade. I know this is very difficult, this passage, in this canto also, because Sri Aurobindo is taking us here into the realms that he has explored, that he alone has been able to not only explore, but record. And so we have to take this into our hearts, but not try to understand it mentally. Some things will come to us, others will not. A magic porch of entry glimmering. So you see this shimmering and this glimmering that he speaks about. Quivered. Quivering also is trembling, shaking with a slight rapid movement in a penumbra of screened light. So we have here a partial shadow, is as in an eclipse. That's a penumbra of screened light. And what is it? It's a court of the mystical traffic of the worlds, all these worlds of the gods. It's a court of that mystical traffic. It's even a balcony and miraculous facade. A facade is the face of a building, usually the principal face. Any questions? I know this is challenging.
By the way, this is a very interesting passage which we just before this hour I had the hymn, this Rigvedic hymns, and we looked into the hymn of Agastya Rishi, where Indra speaks to him, and you remember this famous hymn which describes the whole integral yoga, and Indra says to him, the first verse, that who knows that supreme where you are heading at? Something else appears in between him, anyasya chittam abhisanchareniyam, appears and moves, separating that transcendence from our world and intention. And this is exactly this, the description is perfect here. It is the world of Svar, the world of the gods, where they are born. Overmind. Actually, it is the overmind, and these trenches, or what the vistas of intuitive sight, the intuition is flashing from this overmental realm down. So it is all that Svar world which separates the supreme, the supermind, from our perception. And all this balcony and all this facade, everything, all these.
There's kind of a building. It's almost giving us a structure.
Right. It is the Svar world, the overmental world in between, with all the gods, which separates us at the same time. It is making the consciousness of another, so anyasya chittam. It creates another perception of the within. So it's this Maya world of Maya in the Vedic terms, not in the Advaitic terms. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. So we'll carry on a little bit more. Above her, lightened high immensities. All the unknown looked out from boundlessness. It lodged upon an edge of hourless time, gazing out of some everlasting now, its shadows gleaming with the birth of gods, its bodies signaling the bodiless, its foreheads glowing with the oversoul, its forms projected from the unknowable, its eyes dreaming of the ineffable, its faces staring into eternity. We see how far Ashwapati, and Govinda, of course, has progressed. And we see, well, I think this is basically what you just told us about, Vladimir. It's continuing that feeling, the birth of gods, the body signaling the bodiless.
And projections, these projections is exactly the world of projections from the supermind, yes.
Yes. Its forms projected from the unknowable. Unknowable, of course, is Shuravinda says the unknowable is, well, the unknowable is something to us supreme, wonderful, and ineffable, which continually formulates itself to our consciousness and continually escapes from the formulation it has made. That's from the Life Divine. Have we done the ineffable?
I think, we were talking about it quite a bit, yes, okay. What it could mean even.
Yes, yes. So we are going to go now into Ashwapati's life. Life in him learned its huge subconscious rear. The little fronts unlocked to the unseen vasts. Her gulfs stood nude, her far transcendences flamed in transparencies of crowded light. Oh, how beautiful. He has a little tab here. If you look in Savitri, in the book, you will see that little indent. And that means to me, just take a little break. Something new is coming. And now he's going to tell us about that new order. A giant order was discovered here, of which the tassel and extended fringe are the scant stuff of our material lives. What a powerful statement. So we have a tassel, which is an adornment, usually a hanging bunch of threads tied at one end and loose at the other. And a fringe is a decorative border of thread or cord. So of which the tassel and extended fringe, this is not very large stuff, are the scant, barely sufficient stuff of our material lives. Wow. This overt universe, whose figures hide the secrets merged in superconscient light, wrote clear the letters of its glowing code, a map of subtle signs surpassing thought was hung upon a wall of inmost mind. Well, overt, of course, is something not hidden or concealed. This overt universe, whose figures hide the secrets merged in superconscient light, wrote clear the letters of its glowing code. This is to Ashwapati, of course. A map of subtle signs surpassing thought was hung upon a wall of inmost mind, illumining the world's concrete images into significant symbols by its gloss. It offered to the intuitive exegete its reflex of the eternal mystery. Well, we have so much here, but I think it's fairly understandable that Ashwapati is receiving all of these things, and the world's images, they're concrete images, and the significant symbols by its gloss, that's a superficial luster or shine, but it's usually a deceptively attractive appearance. So it offers to the intuitive exegete, and I don't have the definition of exegete for you yet. I will get it. It's reflex of the eternal mystery. We'll go a little more, and then I think it's enough for tonight. This is very, very challenging. Ascending and descending twixt life's poles, the serried kingdoms of the graded law. Now notice he says serried, not serried. And this word serried is coined by Sri Aurobindo from the word series. And we have a definition of exegete someone just gave us. Can someone see that in the chat? The series. Yes, what does it say? Exegete.
The one who explains or gives a critical interpretation of a text.
Okay.
Also speaker, reviewer, praiser, evaluator, analyst, observer.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we see these serried kingdoms. Serried, of course, is basically from a series. Serried kingdoms of the graded law. Graded means arranged in a sequence of grades or ranks. And the law we've talked about, I think, before. Plunged from the everlasting into time. Now we see that it's into time. Then glad of a glory of multitudinous mind and rich with life's adventure and delight. And I'm going to break there for tonight because
Sure.
this is very, very, very challenging. And we have to read it over many, many times. We have to read these things over and over again. Mother says, don't even try to understand some of this. She says, let it sink into your inner being, and eventually it will become understandable to you without the struggle of the mind trying to understand it. So I thank you all for attending tonight. Have we had namaste, everyone. And
Namaste.
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 Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.